The pen felt heavier than it should have. Maybe it was the silence in the room, or the way Mark stood behind me, too quiet, too calm. He said it was just a formality, something to make our future easier. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe in us, but as the ink dried on that paper, a small voice inside me whispered, "You just gave something away." Before continuing, please subscribe to our channel and like our video. My name is Linda Carter, and a few years ago I thought I had finally found peace. I was 51, a widow for 6 years, and working as a school secretary in a small Ohio town. Life was simple. Mornings with coffee and the smell of chalk dust. Evenings with quiet dinners and old movies. My first husband, Daniel, had left me our house and a small savings. It wasn't much, but it was enough. I never thought I'd fall in love again until Mark came into my life. He was confident, charming, 10 years younger, and always knew the right things to say. He said he was a financial consultant, and often talked about how people lost everything because of poor planning. That's how he got me talking about paperwork, wills, and property. Back then, I thought it was sweet that he cared about my future. He'd bring me flowers, fix things around the house, and talk about our plans. I didn't notice how often he said "our" when the things were still mine. A year later, he proposed. It wasn't fancy. We were sitting in the backyard, under the old maple tree Daniel had planted years ago. He took my hand and said, "Let's not waste any more time. Linda, let's build something together." My heart believed him. Before the wedding, he said we should handle the legal side, merge accounts, update deeds, and put everything in both our names. He made it sound practical and caring. I trusted him. When the lawyer came over with the papers, I didn't read much. I smiled and joked, "I hope this isn't selling my soul." Mark laughed and kissed my forehead. "You're just signing for love, sweetheart," he said, and I signed. After we got married, little things started to change. Mark worked late more often. He smelled of cologne and wine when he came home. He started handling all the bills and mail, saying, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." At first, it felt like help. Then I realized I didn't know what our finances looked like anymore. He talked about investments and maybe selling the house to buy something newer. One night, I walked in and saw him quickly close a folder of papers. He smiled and said, "Just boring work stuff. You wouldn't want to look at this." That was the first time I felt like a stranger in my own home. He corrected me when I called it my house. He called my late husband's things clutter. He stopped saying "we" when it came to love, but used it constantly when he talked about money. The truth came out by accident. One morning, I was looking through an old drawer and found an envelope from a law firm, addressed to Mark. It said property title confirmation. When I opened it, my heart dropped. The house, the one Daniel had bought, and I had lived in for years, was now in Mark's name, and there was my signature at the bottom, the same one. From that day, he said it was just a formality. He had taken my trust and turned it into ownership. That night, I said nothing. I just listened and watched, and quietly I began to plan. The next day, I went to the lawyer whose name was on the letter. He looked uncomfortable when I explained who I was. Finally, he said, "Mrs. Carter, the transfer was legal, but unusual. You signed the house over completely." He sighed. "If you were misled, you might still have a case." So I found another lawyer, one who specialized in cases like mine. She listened to everything and said softly, "You've been manipulated, but you're not powerless." For the first time in months, I felt hope. 3 months later, I filed for an annulment based on fraud. When Mark got the papers, he was furious. He shouted, "You think you can just take everything back?" I stayed calm. "No, Mark," I said. "You took everything that wasn't yours. I'm just making it right." He tried to charm me again, his voice soft like before. "I only wanted us to share everything, Linda." I looked at him and said, "You did, except you forgot to share honesty. In the end, the court restored everything that was mine." Mark walked away with nothing but his pride. After it was over, I sold the house, not out of anger, but because I wanted peace. I moved to a small place near the lake, with quiet mornings and sunlight in every room. Sometimes I trace my name in the air, just to remind myself it still belongs to me. I learned that love built on lies can still feel real, until it costs you something that is. Now, when people ask if I'd ever love again, I smile and say, yes. But next time, I'll read the fine print, with my heart and my eyes. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found it meaningful, please like, share, or comment below, and subscribe for more calm, real-life stories. Because sometimes the truth is what finally sets us free.